Oh yeah, you can't keep secrets forever, I guess. Welcome to I Be Suffer.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. Real secret, somehow this movie cost them over $300,000 to make.
What?
Yeah, that's what the budget says
It's
on IMDb, and I was like, there's no fucking way. Unless they
the
rented
dude walking through the woods.
unless they rented like a red camera to shoot this thing.
The budget for this movie was like a new iPhone with 4K video and like one of those like shitty Steadicam harnesses you can get for them.
Yeah. They donated $299,000 to their local police force.
Yeah, just all of the money went to buying the husband as many police outfits as he could get.
Yeah.
This is episode 320 of I Be Suffer. I'm Nathan.
I'm Kit.
This week, we're talking about Ashley Hayes Wright, which means Shayne's back.
Hey, what's up?
Number 2 biggest Ashley Hayes Wright supporter behind me.
Yeah.
Shayne.
The only people that have seen any of her movies.
Yeah, I feel like Nathan has probably seen more of her movies than anybody on the planet right now, except for her.
I don't know.
And I'm probably in second place.
There's a guy on Letterboxd that I think is on all of them and has like left a review and was like, "These are all terrible, but also she seems like she's figured out how to use a camera by now." And shit like that. Like I was reading through his reviews.
It only took 50 movies
in like chronological order or whatever on there, and how like he's like, like. I don't know. At least this one had like a moving camera shot in it, and look, there's 2 people in the frame acting against each other for the first time. Shit like that. Yeah, we're talking about 2023's Bigfoot: Grip of the Monster, which I had to make sure we did because it's another Bigfoot movie from Ashley Hayes Wright, and there's a really garbage AI poster with 6 fingers on it.
My God.
Yeah, I was hoping this was going to be about a Bigfoot jacking people off, but it's not.
This was
devastating.
Unfortunately, barely a religious movie. Like I feel like maybe once the very end somebody's like reading a Bible passage, but it really
Bible
didn't
verses.
Come into it at all in the main story that I remember. Good.
I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, this stuff that they're talking about, it's so. I mean, we can wait until later, but yeah, this stuff that they talk about in the end, like the story is incoherent until they read that Bible verse, and it's a whole thing, like a weird Christian, like it's like weird. I don't know if you call it Christian conspiracy theory stuff, but basically, like in the Bible, there's this race of giants called the Nephilim, who are like the result of angels coming down and like fucking human women. And the implication at the end is that the Bigfoot family are Nephilim. That's what that Bible verse was saying.
I didn't take notes because who fucking cares?
There could have been a good movie here, based on that plot.
This is the thing. I feel like we've come across it a handful of times, and even just like regular sort of like garbage tubey stuff we've stumbled across, where there's always like a title that we're like, oh fuck yeah, this sounds dumb as shit, and then it's like 80% like stock.
Oh no, it's dumb as shit.
Yeah, like stock footage. It's like this movie. Like I would say, out of 68 minutes. Maybe 15 minutes of it there's dialogue, and the rest of it is just like panning shots of like what is like we talked about in that first Bigfoot movie she did, where I'm like, yeah, they're just lucky that they live in an area that has like gorgeous shit that you could shoot on camera. Like the woods they're in is
woods are there,
looks beautiful, but then it's just surrounded by some of the most dog shit acting I've ever seen. This dad, so I watched 4 of their movies, maybe 3. Since the last time we recorded, and like I will
I don't know how you're alive.
luckily they're all barely an hour, and like at least the other ones besides this were so insane that I was like on board. I also was very high for Halloween Hero, and so when one of what I assume is the children comes in wearing just a general black guy mask to play a robber, and then they just ADR him saying partner over and over again and just mumbling, and then as Shayne pointed out, because I had him, he watched that scene too, very sensually pointing a gun at their dad is very upsetting, but I was like, this is the craziest shit I've ever seen. So that, like, I think being high helped that. And then Fear Falls is essentially what I would assume is they heard about The Witch and made a Christian version of The Witch about a leaf monster instead of a goat. And
hell yeah,
it's like an 1800s fucking like story, and it's like you know they're all being haunted by a demon that or whatever that you find out is actually just in their heads, and they just needed Jesus the whole time. It was dumb as shit. But then I got to this and I was like, oh my god, this is so fucking boring. How is this the newest movie? And it seems like they've like progressively unlearned how to make a movie. It's brutal. Yeah,
it looks better than all their other movies, but it's just it's like 30% a guy walking around the woods while just like stock action movie music just blares at you over the soundtrack.
So I was curious because this guy popped up in Fear Falls and then this, and I was like, who the fuck is this dude that is not a right family member that is now somehow part of these movies? And I guess so at least on IMDb, he is the composer of like a shit ton of their movies. And he just all of a sudden in like 2020 he's just popped up in like 3 of their movies and 2 of their shorts. And the first movie he did in 2004 is a movie called Diggin' for Dollars, which looks like it's clearly like a black comedy, but like a black comedy where he plays like a pastor in it. But I don't write like it's like there's no way this isn't on Tubi. The only name I recognize in it is Lil Troy. It looks terrible, but I also kind of want to watch it now because it kind of looks like one of those like insane early 2000s like Soul Plane type movies, but like extremely like Z grade people in it instead. So I'm in. But I'm very baffled by this guy just randomly now being a part of their movies and being like the only person that's not a family member.
He was credited as the writer for this too, Gary D. Clark.
That would make sense because this movie basically just follows him stumbling around the woods for.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, because he's the main character. It's funny too because he's the best actor out of all of them, which I understand isn't saying very much, but I mean at least he doesn't sound barred up all the time like the dad does, or just talking like this.
The thing I noticed watching some of these is like, especially now that most of their kids are like teenagers, like some of them are not terrible at acting.
Merely bad.
Like no, like that, like in I forget, like in Fear Falls, like one of them, the story plot revolves around like her grandma, like one of the daughters, like her grandma died, and she was the only other person in her life that like, and so now she just like has to take care of this farm by herself. And like they're trying to teach her that she like needs Jesus or whatever. She's like unaccepting, and she's like not terrible in it. The dad is fucking horrible in every movie. He is the worst actor I've ever seen. I don't know, like even when like he's just playing a cop, which is all he seems to want to do.
Yeah,
he's horrible at it. He's got like the worst delivery, and it's always that shitty monotone fucking way he talks. I don't know. I hate it. I don't ever want to see him again. We're never, unless they do another Bigfoot movie, we're done with this family.
Bad news. All they're doing from now on.
I think we touched on this in the Badge, the Bible, and Bigfoot, but the dad seems like the kind of guy the extremely Midwestern conservative guy who's just kind of like he got married too young and started having kids, and he's just like filled with seething rage all the time. And he's just like, the way that he compensates with that is just trying to like destroy his emotion, just get rid of emotions, and that's how I don't know. I feel like one day he's gonna kill his entire family.
Probably.
Is what I'm getting at.
It's so funny because it's like in Fear Falls he plays like this small 1800s town's like preacher or whatever, but he has to have a gun in it because he's also the protector of the town.
Yeah, he's also the town cop.
Like there's like a whole argument between him and like his like his real life wife Ashley Hayes Wright in it, like where she just plays some random person in the town. Of course they fall in love despite not having disagreements with each other. But she's always like, why do you have to have a gun? Like, the pastor shouldn't have a gun. And he's just like, I gotta protect the town too. And I was like, but meanwhile, Gary D. Clark is in that movie playing the sheriff, so I don't really understand. He was just like, I have to have a gun or else I can't act in this movie.
I'm not a man without a gun.
Yeah.
It's probably a manifestation of his real life insecurity about acting. Like, I gotta have a gun so people don't think I'm a homosexual.
I have to assume he just like desperately wanted to be a cop in real life, but like
failed the exam.
Like, I would not be surprised to find out he was like a soldier or something at some point, but like he clearly desperately wants to be a cop, but is either terrified of it or like could not. I don't know how you fail a fucking police
they let
exam,
anyone.
seem like they'll take anybody, but he's he just essentially plays a sheriff in every movie, and whatever ones he doesn't, he still has to carry a gun for some reason. The ending of Halloween Hero, I was fucking losing my mind because like the entire movie, like the movie opens and he is a former cop, I think, whose wife was killed. And so now he's like depressed and he's going to kill himself. But the movie opens on a calendar that on Halloween just has the word death written on it. And he crosses it out. And then he's getting ready to kill himself and some trick-or-treater comes. And he's like, I don't celebrate Halloween. It's an evil holiday. And like, so then he just decides he's got to save this fucking child that's trick-or-treating. Save their soul from Halloween. So that's what most of the movie is.
Save me from Halloween. I want candy.
It's a wild coincidence because this child also has the name of his wife, so he knows he has to help her. But it gets to the end, and this child,
Jesus Christ,
like the last 40 seconds of the movie before like hard cuts to credits, is this child comes running in, and she's like, some guys outside just tried to sell me drugs. I didn't know what to do, so I ran in here. And he just looks at the camera and cocks his gun and walks outside before hard credits. And I was like, what the fuck?
Oh my god.
I was like, this dude's gonna go kill some fucking drug dealers, I guess. That seems extremely Christian. It's oh god, I wish we'd done that movie because it's fucking so unhinged. Granted, like I said, I was high as fuck watching it, but the entire time I was like, I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Is this happening?
This opens with the dad's gonna kill himself. Now someone in the family is like wearing essentially blackface while there's just an ADR of like the most generic like 90s version of how everyone thought like a black man would talk. And then like now he's going outside to kill a bunch of people. I was like, this is fucking
now he's doing
unhinged.
Death Wish.
God, I would watch the shit out of an Ashley Hayes Wright Death Wish ripoff. But I also I don't buy their entire gimmick of we don't watch Hollywood movies. We only watch the shit we make, and we wanted to make sure like our kids had like proper good Christian stuff to watch. Because I'm like, I don't know. You've started making pretty weird conspiracy movies now that I feel like you're at least on Tubi scoping shit out, because they have like these Bigfoot movies. They have a fucking weird alien movie.
Can you imagine like growing up and your parents only let you watch movies they made?
All of your entertainment is just a bunch of stories about how your parents fell in love over and over and over again.
You finally make it out into the real world and have to like talk to someone And they're like, "What movies do you like?" Like, oh, well.
You know who my favorite actor is? David Owens.
Yeah.
They're gonna be the shitty version of that family, those kids that were just basically never left their apartment and entertain themselves by shooting versions of movies they liked on VHS. Except these kids are gonna be completely insane.
I just like. I'm baffled at how many films they've managed to pump out where essentially the plot is just, hey, we inherited a farm. like so many of them are just like, oh, like a grandparent died and now we have to take care of their farm, and then I don't know, I guess an alien shows up. And it's
hey,
just
if
like,
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Okay? Well, it's broke, so.
Yeah, I mean, I can buy that they actually don't watch movies, because I mean, this one specifically, how long into the movie is it before there's actually any semblance of a plot? Like, it doesn't...
I'd say 64 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Because there's that opening scene with the hunters, and they're listening to that Bigfoot Stole My Beer song, and they get scared. And then it just cuts to credits, and then it comes back, and there's that title card where it's like 20 years earlier, and then the timeline on this movie is completely fucked.
They probably watched Memento.
Yeah, yeah, everything is in reverse.
Number one, Bigfoot Stole My Beer, banger of the year. Gary D. Clark, whatever this dude's name was, killing it, composing. I feel like we're 6 months away from them dropping a fucking Amityville movie on us, where like they're at bare minimum scrolling around like Tubi or something to like see kind of like where at least their algorithm is pointing at like specific genre movies, because it's like, I don't know, they're like hitting all of the like big weird conspiracy shit of like this and Aliens. They have a Chupacabra movie, like all of their like non-horror ones are clearly just like shitty like ABC Family or like Lifetime movie ripoffs, like Parents for Christmas. Shayne is gonna watch Hee Haw Farm.
Yeah,
that's a banger.
I want to see that Hee Haw Farm.
Like, I watched Civil War Saint a while ago, and it's
my God.
I'll give you one guess as to what side I'm pretty sure the dad's fighting on in the Civil War. But... like, they never really fully make it clear, but I'm like, I could take a guess.
Yeah. Something tells me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I said the last time we recorded where I was like, I would never willingly give this family money, but also if they released audio commentary tracks for their movies, I might buy something just to hear their entire insane process as to how they just make this shit, because like, they suck, but I'm invested.
Yeah,
you're in now.
Yeah, you say that you'll never do another Wright family production on this show, but I do not believe you.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's going to come down to if Monster B in DC ever shows up. Because, like, that is an early movie. Like, that looks like it's their real, like, actual full-length follow-up to Badge Bible and Bigfoot. And based on the cover, it looks like shit. And I gotta see what kind of weird Windows 95 fucking movie effects they're using in it, based on the poster.
Yeah, it's like they're using like 1997 era like video toaster wipes on it and stuff, like Star Wipes. And
I forget which movie it was, but the guy that was like doing all of the reviews of their movies, that was like, the movie's not good, but blah blah blah, like I can see where they're learning, and I hope Hollywood doesn't scoop her up soon. And I was like, you're out of your fucking mind, dude.
I know, that's one of their cousins or something.
I was like, Hollywood has no interest because, like,
Yeah.
I
Thanks.
like I said earlier, like this movie feels like they forgot how to make a movie. Like the ones I watched were like 2021, 2022. Maybe like one of them might have been like 2019. I don't remember. But it's like this is so much worse than the ones I watched in just general filmmaking. Outside of just like there's woods footage to see.
Yeah, it literally 75% of the movie is just about a guy walking around in the woods or driving a four-wheeler around in the woods.
There were numerous times where I was just like, I just fast forwarded like the 10 or 15 seconds, whatever it is, where I was like, no one's talking. This is just woods footage. I'm not fucking watching. It's like more of this.
It's like they took that one part of In a Violent Nature that made everyone mad and just expanded it into an entire movie of just a guy walking through the woods.
I will watch the shit out of an Ashley Hayes Wright In a Violent Nature ripoff. Just a guy like stalking through the woods. And all you see is his POV, but he's just handing out Bibles to people instead of killing them.
Like there's the yoga scene, but he walks up and he's like, do you know that yoga is a gateway to Satan worship?
It's just instead,
then she jumps off the cliff to get away from him and dies.
Instead of the woods, he's just at like a mall, walking around barefoot, like handing Bibles to people and shit. Get like that real Midwest vibe going on. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing like the plot is literally just this Gary D. Clark guy thinks he got attacked by Bigfoot earlier in his life, and now he's just become a Bigfoot conspiracy dude that is like in this town to like do what he keeps referring to as research. And the sheriff, played by the dad of the family, is like stonewalling him at every turn, and that's about all that happens.
Yeah, and it doesn't even clarify that he's an author until probably half an hour into the movie, where he's at the library and he's talking to that old woman for like 5 straight minutes.
They are the worst actors in the movie. The old woman and the old guy.
They need to get back to their style, their old style of just putting an old woman mask on one of like the kids or the mom.
Yeah,
because that's what happened. Halloween Hero, like there's a mom, like one of the kids in it has a grandma who is literally, I think, just the mom wearing an old lady mask, and they do like a fuzzy screen, kind of like a fuzzy effect over her, and she's sitting sort of in the background.
Blend in.
Yeah, so you can't tell that it's a well, you can, but they don't think you can. But then they also just ADR her voice over it, like an old lady voice. And at one point in the movie, she's talking to like this kid in it, and it's just like, well, you know, like we got to figure out how to pay rent this month. Also, the doctor told me I have about 6 months to live. The daughter's like, oh, that's horrible. And I was like, what the fuck is happening?
See, this is how you know Hollywood's got their nails in them.
And I can't. I would pay anything. If I was a billionaire, I would be like, Marvel, hear me out. I will give you my fortune to give to this woman to make a Marvel movie, just because I want to see what happens.
Blade just lost its director
there
again.
You go.
Give her Blade. I'm sure that'll be fine.
Make a Blade movie.
Ashley Hayes Wright.
Cast their husband as Blade. Oh my god, I want that so bad.
You know he would just be wearing an old rubber Wesley Snipes Blade mask from the 90s.
I don't use swords, I use guns now. And the vampires are Satanists.
Is there any way we can make Blade a cop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would say half of this movie is just the dude walking around the woods while sticks are thrown at him. I will say at least you see a Bigfoot in this, as opposed to just the hands of a Bigfoot from Badge Bible and Bigfoot.
Yeah, yeah. They actually sprung. Maybe that's what the budget went to. They just got really expensive Bigfoot costumes.
It has to be. I'm also baffled that this movie apparently cost that much, and they're like when I texted Shayne about coming back on to cover this, he had discovered that she's got the crowdfunding thing going on that's been going on for like half a year and raised exactly $0, but it's for like a third of the budget of this somehow.
Yeah, there's no way they must have just put they must have just put a random number in. There's no way the budget for this is more than $500 or whatever the cost of a new digital camera is or whatever they used to shoot this on.
My whole theory is that they, for some reason, shot it all on actual film and then converted it to digital.
It's on 70 millimeter, but they uploaded it to Twitter first and then downloaded the compressed video.
They shot it on fucking IMAX for some reason. And then...
Yeah. Well, it's so, yeah, I don't know. And there's entire sections of this movie that you can't even see. The screen is basically black because she doesn't have any concept of lighting.
Yeah.
Like, I guess she doesn't realize you can't actually shoot at night or when it's dark without lights.
It's so frustrating because I'm just like you could like make a dumbass Christian Bigfoot movie and make it interesting, and I don't know why they can't figure it out. Like, especially like if their whole idea was like this Nephilim shit, like I feel like you could do something with that instead of making your movie 3/4 just footage of the woods and like a dude getting sticks thrown at him.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Yeah, it's goofy. It's so goofy. But towards the end, when he discovers their secret that it's actually a family of Bigfoot who I guess can walk past trees and transform, I had to rewind that part because I didn't know what was going on. I was like, are they wearing robes? Like what is happening?
It's another thing where it's just sort of like the ineptitude of the filmmaking. And I say this as somebody that could not make a movie. Like, and I've like we've talked about this with other just sort of just general like straight to Tubi bullshit we watch where I'm like, I can't make a movie, and like props to whoever did this for actually completing and making a movie, but like that scene in particular, I was just like, you can't tell what's going on because A, it's kind of dark. All you see is the feet, so you don't really get a good idea of what is happening until the end of the movie when you find out that it's like a family of Bigfoots that you then can like piece together what was happening in it. But I was literally just like, shoot it from like the waist up so you can see they're a fucking Bigfoot instead of just like a weird brown darkness happening in the bottom of the screen.
There's a smudge walking by.
Yeah. It's like Shayne said, like you can't really tell if they're wearing robes. Maybe it's once you realize what it's supposed to be, it's like clearly it's a Bigfoot thing. But at this point, like I think this is the idea that you're supposed to find out or like they're teasing that it's a family of Bigfoots. But I was just like, oh, okay, I don't know, some weird dark shit's happening in this dark ass lit scene. So it's just
we went Bigfoot hunting in the middle of the night and didn't find anything.
Also, very mad there wasn't a fucking fist fight between Bigfoot and the dad, like in the other one.
Yeah, that was the highlight of the Badge the Bible and Bigfoot.
Because that movie was also 60 minutes of just people stumbling around the woods. But at least the dad punched some trees and like fist fought a Bigfoot. This one, there's like no action, I don't think. Like,
you can't
cowards.
You can't even. There's a couple scenes where, like, when the guy is driving his off-road vehicle thing through the woods, and I guess Bigfoot is supposed to be throwing rocks and shit at him, but it's just a cutaway of a rock falling on the ground or like a tree falling on the ground. So, and then at the end of the movie where he's getting chased by the Bigfoot family, it's completely dark. You can't even tell what's going on. So
there was a scene, and I have no fucking idea. I can't remember if there was a point to it or not. That like one of the Bigfoots,
almost certainly not.
Yeah, throws like a huge boulder at the dude, and and it like lands on something next to him. Where I was like, my only takeaway from it was like, is it supposed to be like crushing his beer to be like, hey, stop drinking? Like, I couldn't tell what the fuck was happening in that scene.
No, they paid that off. I can't believe I'm talking. This is how I know something is wrong with me, is because I'm able to connect these dots. So what? Yeah, the dad touches on that at the end of the movie after the author guy publishes his expose book, like exposing them as a family of big feet. He's at the table and he's talking about how he did the right thing this time and let the author go. So he was gonna. I think what happened is he was gonna smash him with the rock, and he just decided, he was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna kill this guy. I'm gonna let him go." So he did the thing that you see in every action movie where he, like, you think he's gonna kill him and he just slams the rock down by his head, and then lets the author guy escape. And yes, and that's at the end. That's why they have to disappear into the woods, because the author then turns around and writes a book about how this small town sheriff and his family are actually Sasquatches. And apparently, the media picks up on it. I don't know. The ending of the movie, I was actually like, this is actually really funny. I wish the entire movie was insane like this.
Like, what a terrible fucking premise. Because, like, this. I guess this does point to the fact that they clearly don't watch any sort of real, like, anything, because, like, thinking in 2023 that the media is going to pick up on a fucking Bigfoot story tells me you have no idea what's currently going on in fucking modern culture.
Yeah, it reminds me of one of my friends. We went to the same church growing up, and his family homeschooled him for years and then in high school is when they sent him into, like, regular school, and he just was the only thing that the only kind of media his parents would let him watch was, like, Rush Limbaugh on the radio and like Saturday Night Live for some reason.
Weird.
Yeah, so his frames of reference for pop culture were so weird and fucked up.
I feel like if we ever do another one of, like, these movies, what we'll do is we'll have Shayne come back on, but we'll get Josh to come on too.
Yeah,
because I want to get Josh's takeaway from, like, one of these movies as somebody who was, like, very deep into sort of like that, very deep into, like, Christian weird shit as, like, a teenager. And we'll make him watch Christmas Zombies. A disgruntled elf named Stuffy will get fired. Wow, this is terribly written. A disgruntled elf named Stuffy will get fired, and a new zombie boss will arise. He will seek revenge on the North Pole. The robot stuffed zombies he creates will not be after brains, but after presents.
What?
Holy shit, this fucking poster is incredible.
Not much of a zombie if you're trying to get presents instead of brains, I feel like.
Oh, the dad plays Santa and somebody named Sarge, so I'm assuming a cop. Wow, this looks...
What if Santa's ex-military in that movie?
Oh yeah, he's got a...
Like, he's a normal military, cop.
At this
and
point,
then he becomes Santa in December.
At this point, this dad has to be guilty of, like, stolen valor of some kind.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Something's going on with this dude that I need one of you to look up the cover to Christmas Zombies, because there's a lot going on here, and I'm gonna have to fucking watch this shit.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
This dude with, like, the dreads, that's, like, next to the one black guy they probably know.
Yeah, the guy in the dreads is for sure somebody wearing a black guy mask or in blackface. And then Ashley Hayes Wright is dual wielding submachine guns.
Guns akimbo.
It's funny too, because Santa Claus is, like, way up in the corner, just
that's the dad,
kind of transparent.
That's David and Ashley, right, as the Mr. and Mrs. Claus, and then their kids who look like ghosts on this cover, like over in the side. I watched this shit out of this. We're not doing it.
You're
We're
not
doing it
done
on.
with the right
Oh
thing,
no,
right?
I'm going to watch this. I mean, I don't like. After this, it's just like, I don't know. Like, they're not necessarily. Most of these movies aren't worth covering because they're just this, where it's so fucking boring. But based on this poster art, Christmas Zombies looks like it might be at least insane.
So many people with guns on this cover look very happy to be aiming them at someone.
I mean, I will say, they know the perfect amount of time to keep a movie running, which is just barely over 60 minutes. So I'll give them that. That's the one aspect of their filmmaking I can get on board with. I feel like there's a lot of people that make these like bad. Like, I watched Amityville Karen sometime this year, and it is dog shit, and it's almost 2 hours long. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, no Amityville movie should be over an hour and 10 minutes at this point, and yours is 2 hours of just a woman screaming at people. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody have anything else about this fucking dog shit movie?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything, which is a guy walking around in the woods, and then Bigfoot.
I was gonna say, we have to figure out. Well, not figure out because there's a bunch of them, but like we have to do a good Bigfoot movie on here soon because I feel like we have only covered her bullshit Bigfoot movies, and we got some good Bigfoot.
We got a course
content
correct
in here. Yeah, obviously we're watching Bigfoot's Wild Weekend. As soon as Katie, oh yeah, Kit, you have seen that. Let's see. Bigfoot didn't have a wild weekend.
God.
He didn't have a wild weekend at all. I'm in. I felt like a movie that I was like, Katie would hate it based on the title alone, so that's why I was like, we should do that.
Did we do Suburban Sasquatch?
Not yet. I don't think we've done any of those like good.
We have to.
Yeah.
Suburban Sasquatch is the greatest Sasquatch film of all time.
I know we had to have done something, but like off the top of my head, I can't even think of a Bigfoot movie we've done since fucking Abominable, maybe, and that's not even Bigfoot. Yeah, we'll definitely do Suburban Sasquatch at some point. Because
Weird Big Guys Month.
Look, I asked Katie, and Katie said Bigfoot counts as a weird little guy, so we don't have to.
No one's ever actually seen him. He could be very tiny.
So that just means we
Just
don't
have gigantic feet.
We don't have to abandon Weird Little Guys Month for Bigfoot. I think it counts. I have to look. I swear there has to be something, a Bigfoot movie we've done, but like it's not ringing a bell with me at all. Oh man, our early movies fucking terrible. Kid and I did some real dog shit before Katie joined.
Yes, yes, we did.
Shayne, have you seen Death House?
Oh God,
I don't think so.
You should.
It's like The Expendables with horror icons.
Yeah, it's got every horror icon,
but
like in a plot that makes zero sense. All I remember really though is that there's a scene where people are falling down a shaft, and I think Hatebreed starts playing loud as fuck.
I see Gunnar Hansen directed that.
Yeah, it's terrible.
What more could you ask for? You know?
Yeah, I don't know if we've done a real Bigfoot movie on here. I'm not coming across anything.
That's
we should
crazy.
do Night of the Demon. Katie will hate it.
Yeah, both of those rock. Oh, I forgot there was a movie. I saw someone, I think, post about a movie called Boner Spiders, and I was like, yes.
Oh, my God.
I was like, if that is a real thing, no, it's not coming up on Letterboxd, so maybe it's not.
For better or worse, I'm Googling boner spiders right now.
Yeah, so am I. So Google's going to have a fucking weird spike on whoever's... Oh, no, are these a real thing? This spider's boner-inducing venom could treat... Oh, no, boner... Like, spider venom as Viagra?
It's just a ED fixing spider.
I mean, hey, you know, I guess that works too.
I mean, I think that would be a great movie. Like,
have
one of those spiders bite a bunch of people. Everyone's got like permanent boners. Figure out how to fix it.
I wonder if maybe what I saw was somebody watching a YouTube video, because there's a bunch of things coming up as YouTube of like weird, what look like horror YouTube people talking about these spiders.
Oh,
So maybe that's
sad.
what I saw. I was like, I have to know what this movie's about, and then apparently it's not a real movie. Bummer. Yeah, this movie sucks. Don't watch
Disappointed again.
it.
Every other day.
Go watch Halloween Hero instead. But actually, I don't know. I would say go watch it on YouTube, but I'm not sure if their YouTube has enough to be profitable. What's the fucking word?
Yeah, like monetized.
Monetized. Yeah.
There's no way they're making any money off YouTube.
Well, like, because they upload, like, a bunch of their shit on there, but they also uploaded it into other language, where I think you can watch it just dubbed in, like, Hebrew and shit for some reason.
Oh, my God. I gotta watch that.
I think, like, I don't know, there was, let's see, Bright Family.
You can watch the Portuguese edit of Badge of the Bible and Bigfoot.
No, so there's one where all of it is in, like, Chinese, I think. There's one that's like all in like Arabic. It's very weird. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna watch fucking Alien Whispers in Arabic, I guess. All right, I refuse to look at news because I'm assuming it's all dumb as shit. Shayne, what have you watched recently? Besides the cool debates.
Yeah.
Lord.
What have I watched? Oh, I watched on a flight from Florida to New York yesterday. I watched that movie Abigail that came out earlier this year with Dan Stevens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually pretty fun. I heard a few people say it wasn't any good, but I don't know. I liked it.
Is that the ballerina one or whatever?
Yeah. It's the ballerina vampire.
Yeah. This group of criminals gets hired to kidnap this girl who they think is like the daughter of it's like a crime lord guy, and they're gonna extort money, and it turns out she's a vampire, and then there's a bunch of like vampire violence. It's good. I don't know. I liked it a lot.
I feel like I saw sort of
same.
like mixed things where like I saw like a bunch of people saying it was like pretty fun, and then a bunch of people were like, this is bad, and I was just like, I'll maybe get to it at some point.
If you liked Ready or Not, I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of just them doing Ready or Not again, but
yeah, I never saw that
inverse. So it's one vampire killing a bunch of people.
I'm pretty like on board with even shitty vampire movies, so I was like, I might get to this at some point, but I have such a fucking backlog of like physical stuff I've bought that I'm like, I need to watch this before I dive into all the shit. Instead, I just watched Ashley Hayes Wright movies, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like you'll hate it because it costs more than $1,000 to make and it is not like an evil Bong movie.
Hey, look, I loved Nope, so there are some that still work for me. It's just, I don't know. I feel like there's a real bad sort of the Blumhouse effect that happened after Blumhouse blew up, where a lot of studio shit just doesn't work for me. They can't all be slam dunk earnest.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was good. I thought it was like a fun way to spend 90 minutes.
I also I had a conversation with somebody this week about it too, where I think a big problem I have with a lot of things is by the time I get to watch it, it's been so massively overhyped. Where like they're doing that shit with like, I know it's gonna be a fucking terrible movie and I'm not gonna watch it, but Terrifier 3, where they're already starting to like mass walkouts, it's so fucking gross, you won't even believe it, and I'm like, I know this movie's gonna be a letdown.
Yeah. Oh, they did the same shit for 2, and then I went and saw it, and I was just like, who fucking? There's worse stuff out there that it's readily available.
A bunch of people were responding to it, and they were like, what if the walkouts were just because the movie sucks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, and I was just like, look, I don't know. I mean, I've seen like all the August Underground movies and the Serbian film and stuff. Like, this isn't. Oh, there's some blood. A woman gets mutilated. Okay, I don't.
Yeah, I'm like, I've seen Irreversible. I think I could handle a fucking Terrifier movie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like if you're just a normal slasher movie fan, I guess I could see getting grossed out. But especially in Terrifier 2, the shit was so over the top and cartoonish that it wasn't shocking. It was just absurd.
Yeah, they can't all be Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got a ticket to The Substance tomorrow night, so that's what
Hell
I'm
yeah.
excited about. I want to see some goop.
Oh yeah. It's so gooey. It rocks.
That's like the one I actually am kind of actively waiting for to hit streaming because I want to see that one.
I really wanted. Yeah, when it first came out, I really wanted to do a double feature of The Substance and Reagan to do a fucked up Dennis Quaid double feature.
I was trying to figure out how you do the Barbenheimer of that, but I don't think that works.
Reagan stance.
Yeah, just going like I'm here for the Reagan stance double feature.
Yeah.
Give me the Sabagan, please.
Yeah.
What else you watch, Shane?
Oh, I've been watching. My girlfriend and I have been binge watching Banshee, which is it went off the air a few years ago. It was a Cinemax series that ran for 4 seasons. It's just completely fucking insane. I can't remember the guy's name. It's the guy who plays Homelander in The Boys. He's the main character, and he plays he plays a professional thief who gets out of prison after 15 years and goes to this town in Pennsylvania called Banshee to meet up with his girlfriend or his fiance or whatever, who didn't get caught in this heist that he got caught in. And he discovers that she's married and has a family now. And in the meantime, so like he's kind of bummed out and he's gonna leave the town and kind of think about what to do now. And he witnesses a new sheriff coming into the town get murdered. So he takes over the sheriff's identity, and the rest of the series is basically just like a ton of fucking and violence. It
sounds like Cinemax.
Yeah, it's so good. By the 4th season, there's a satanic murder cult, like 3 different. There's like this Amish like crime lord guy, a crack smoking FBI agent played by Eliza Dushku. It's just it's so good. I don't think it did very well. I don't know. I don't know many people that have heard about it, and I just started watching it this year. But I really, if you've got Max, I definitely recommend watching Banshee because it starts off at 11 and just goes up from there. It's complete. It's just a completely insane show.
I love these sort of like how like counterintuitive I guess it is, where you have like something like that you're like, yeah, I don't think it did very well, but it got 4 seasons, and then Netflix has like a show that's like one of the most streamed things. They're like, we're canceling it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Not really. I watched The Borrower the other night, which is John McNaughton's follow-up to Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, and it could not be any different in tone from Henry, because The Borrower is about an alien serial killer who gets banished to Earth in the form of a human, but his alien body keeps rejecting his human form, so his head will just periodically explode. So he has to go around Los Angeles decapitating people and sticking their decapitated heads on his shoulders until the head blows up again. Ray Don Chong is in it. Tom Towles is in it. The cast is good. It's kind of slow, but it's such a just fucking insane premise for a movie that it's worth watching.
I love the idea of like, hey, what if our follow-up to one of the most realistically bleak movies of all time is, what if it's an alien and his head keeps exploding?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because one of the heads is from Tom Tallis, who played Otis in Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. So seeing him do kind of goofy comedy after that performance is just like jarring.
Yeah. What you watch, Kit?
All I watched was Megalopolis.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that. I haven't yet.
Oh, it is rough.
I don't know why, like, I kept seeing that it was coming out, and for some reason in my mind I thought it was a remake of like a like
Metropolis.
Yeah, I guess. Like, I was like, I think equating it with like that and like whatever those like sort of like really weird sort of big studio movies from like the 40s for some reason, and then I was like, oh, this is an original thing.
It's insane. Like, Adam Driver's like the great wronged man from society that everyone's rejected. It's like who everyone thinks Elon Musk is, and he's created this substance called Megalon that he wants to use to build like a utopia out of. And the first time he said it, I thought he said Megalot. And I was like, what? It's got Shia LaBeouf and Jon Voight in prominent roles.
Hell yeah.
And Jon Voight, like, I mean, it's elder abuse. Like, he looks like Joe Biden wandering around scene to scene, has no fucking idea what's going on. Half his lines, he's reading, like, questions because he doesn't know.
That rocks.
I'll say it's really bad and dumb and tedious, but it's also at least, like, pretty interesting and visually pretty cool. Giancarlo Esposito fucking rules, because he always does.
It feels like it's like an almost like an Eyes Wide Shut thing, where like when it came out, everyone was like, "This is dog shit," and then in like 20 years, everyone's gonna be like, "Actually, this was a masterpiece. You just didn't understand."
Yeah, I'm wondering like if I get 6 months away from it and watch it again, how I'll feel about it. But in the moment, like, there was maybe 15 minutes left, and I told Tess, I was like, I'm gonna go take a piss, I'll be back. And I came back and it was still going, and we're the only ones in the theater, so I just like loudly without thought said, Jesus Christ, it's still going.
Let's see.
So yeah, maybe go see it. I don't know.
I would say don't.
It's
just wait till it's streaming.
Yeah.
I watched Maximum Stroller Drive.
Oh man, how was it?
It's pretty much what you would expect. It's
sick. I'm in.
Like, if you're on board with like those early Death Toilet movies where it's like extremely low budget, you're probably on board, because it is literally
perfect.
It's Maximum Overdrive with a stroller shot in like someone's condo complex. And like, yeah. I would say 80% of the movie is somebody just running away from, like, it's Mike Hartfield running away from the stroller, and then every time it cuts to this, there's stroller POV, and it just is like, clearly they just got like generic audio from like a cop's like walkie-talkie or whatever as the stroller talking, and then they just put words on like the screen of the stroller talking, so it'll just be like, "We're gonna get you, fuckface," or like whatever. And I was like, this rocks cinema. But there's a scene early on where he's walking his baby in the stroller, and then he hears a noise, and then he puts his hands in the stroller, comes out with what I can only assume was diced tomatoes to show that the baby got eaten by the stroller.
Yes,
so I was like, this rocks. I watched. I had like a day off, so I kind of binged through like some stuff that I had bought on physical media that I got to yet. So I watched Lamberto Bava's Delirium.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Super good. Like, not specifically a giallo, I would say, but it feels like sort of like his take on like a giallo, but in the late 80s, so it's super sleazy. Like, there's just like titties everywhere. It's fucking like the entire thing is like the main actress is like a topless like model, I guess. I don't know. It's so they just find like any excuse to get some boobs in there. It's pretty good.
Yeah, Italian horror from the 80s stays winning.
Yeah. I watched Roberta Findlay's Mascara, which is like a hardcore film that like Vinegar Syndrome put out. That was actually pretty good. Most of them I'm just like, yeah, this sucks, but it was actually good. Then I rewatched Slam Dunk Ernest for some reason. Made Caitlin watch it, and I was like, you're gonna watch the greatest movie ever made. Where at some point someone's like, wow, did Ernest turn into a black Muslim? Is like one of the lines in the movie, and I was like, hell yeah. Insane. I watched 1984's Decoder, which is I think German movie made by a bunch of like the weird industrial fucking European people. So it's like a bunch of like I know I'm pronouncing this wrong, but and Netzer Neubauten.
Oh yeah.
Like Soft Cell does like the soundtrack to it. Like Lydia Lunch is in it. Fucking William Burroughs is in it. Genesis Peorage. And I don't know what the fuck was going on in the plot, but it's just this really weird sort of like surreal German movie dealing with essentially hacking into the Muzak channel to like cause people to riot. And it rocked. It was super good, but I need to actually like sit and pay attention to it now that I kind of have watched it once to really kind of get a feel of what the fuck was going on in it. Because it has that like, it's very much like like when you watch like Sprockets from SNL, where just like weird shit is happening all the time.
That's exactly. When you were describing it, I was just like thinking this sounds like a Sprocket sketch.
It was super good, but it is like one of those things where it's very like like there's not a real linear, I feel like, storyline that I could pick up on, but maybe I would if like on a rewatch. But I'd recommend it. And then I watched Severin's release of Cemetery Man, and it looks incredible.
So good.
Yeah, they did a fucking great job restoring that. And then I watched Sorority House Vampires, which is, I believe we talked about the first movie before, what came out before Vampire Time Travelers, and I will say, it did not make any of it make any more sense. So I don't think it would have even mattered if we'd watched that, because it's even more confusing than Vampire Time Travelers. I watched 1974's Puzzle. I stumbled across like somebody that made a playlist on YouTube of just like a shit ton of 70s Italian horror and giallo movies. So I kind of just like started from the first one. I've just been kind of going through that slowly. So I watched that, and it's like less a giallo and more like a Polizioteca, but it was pretty good. And then the next two were The Beyond and House by the Cemetery, so I obviously watched those. And then I fell down a rabbit hole for like 2 days of watching live Cure concerts on YouTube. And then last night I went and saw Frankie Frico, which is a fucking banger.
Yeah, I want to see that so bad, but it's only playing in one movie theater in all of New York, and it's only playing one time a day. I
think there was a thing where Fantastic Fest and Alamo Drafthouse like teamed up, where I think the original release is only at Alamo Drafthouses. Then I think after the first week, or maybe the first 2 weeks, there's like little screenings popping up in like other places. Like I know like Philomoka in Philly is doing a screening on like the 16th of October. And so I think it's going to have like a more screenings popping up, but like originally I was like, well, I'll see if I can fit in time. And then I saw Kostansky posting that he was doing like a Q&A at the first 2 days at that Alamo Drafthouse in Manhattan. So I was like, fuck, I gotta go. And it's like the most I Hope You Suffer coded movie I think I've ever seen. It's like, it is, I like, for me, it's maybe the best Weird Little Creature Dudes movie I've ever seen. It's so like, it's clearly like you could tell he fucking loves the Ghoulies movies and shit. So like, I don't know, I fucking loved it. I want to say like too much because I know we'll cover it at some point, and like I don't know, it's not like a movie that's like really like a spoiler heavy thing, but like there's so much shit going on in it that's like Kit, I know Kit and Katie specifically are gonna be like, this is perfect.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, you specifically, like the entire time I was like, Kit is gonna be fucking dying at like this or whatever. Like it's so funny. And like it's in the trailers, but like, you know, they show up and they like trash Connor Sweetie's house, but like all of the graffiti in it is just like the word butt, or like at one point there's like the word vegetables, but it's crossed out. And I was like, this is so fucking funny. It's so stupid.
Yeah, I love the, I don't know what you call it, micro genre of horror or whatever, where it's like weird little guys who are party animals.
Yeah.
Like Munchies
Yeah.
and Julie's, yeah, that kind of stuff. But I don't know. The only screening I could potentially make it to is Thursday, and I would have to take off work early, and I'm thinking about doing that.
That was so originally I was like, all right, maybe I'll like go in Thursday on my day off, and then I saw like the Q&A screenings, and I was like, all right, I gotta just fucking call off and go to this. And like the Q&A aspect of it was like whatever. It was like there was some like film critic that was there that just interviewed him, and they asked one question, and the one person that asked a question was like, do you think Gen Alpha will like this movie because they use the term freaky? And everyone was like, what? But I got to take a picture with Frankie Frico and meet Kostansky, so it was worth it.
So good.
Also, like Alamo Draft House, I need one closer to my house because it rocks. Like, what a fucking cool movie theater. Way better than...
Love the Draft House.
Yeah, way better than fucking AMC, I'll say that.
I've never been to an Alamo Draft House because I hate the idea of some guy next to me eating like truffle fries or something.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I guess more than anything, I'm on board with a movie theater that's just like, hey, you get one warning, and if you continue to talk or get on your phone, you're getting kicked the fuck out.
Yeah, that should be a law.
Yeah,
it should be illegal to talk in movies.
So, on that alone, I'm on board. But, like, the one in Lower Manhattan has, like, a fucking entire, like, VHS video store that you can just rent movies for free from.
Yeah, that's the one where it's the replica of Kim's Video,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's like...
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like, if I lived anywhere near that, I would be there all the time.
Yeah, the one in Brooklyn has got a bunch of kung fu stuff in it because they let the RZA design it.
Yeah, that's the one...
Yeah.
I think that's the one in Staten Island.
Oh, it's probably...
That one's closer to me, and I really want to go to it because the restaurant is Flying Guillotine themed.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, like, I would have easily gone there before Lower Manhattan, but it was only playing at the one in Lower Manhattan. So, yeah, well, I told Katie, like, immediately, I was like, the minute Frankie Frico is even, if it's, like, rentable first before the guys go streaming, I was like, I'll rent it so we can do an episode on it, because it's, like, I'm dying to talk to you two specifically about it. All right, shout-outs. Kit, what do you want to shout out?
Fuck. I had something earlier. Billy Mays' son, Billy Mays the Third, for being a supreme Goldberg hater. He had tweeted, I guess he was at the WWE pay-per-view last night, and, like, one of the guys was talking shit to Goldberg, who was in attendance, and, like, everyone started chanting Goldberg. And Billy Mays posted a video of him shaking his head, like, he goes, shaking my head in disgust, so Bret Hart knows I don't approve of all the people chanting Goldberg.
I feel like that's the only reason I really want to watch that WCW documentary, because I know Bret Hart's just going to talk shit about Goldberg the whole time.
That's all I want. It's good every time.
Shayne, what do you want to shout out?
I don't even know. How about the new Blood Incantation album? Why can't I remember the name? Absolute
Elsewhere.
I was like, come on,
Kit.
Kit.
Yes, that's it. Absolute Elsewhere. I just listened to it right before this, too. I totally forgot. Anyway, I don't know. It's really good. It's like death metal and also 70s prog rock. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything else to shout out.
I got a couple. I will say, I don't know why it's taken me so long to shout it out on here, but the new Cure single is a banger.
Oh, yeah. It's good.
I know I've heard, like, at least 5 new songs from some of those, like, live sets I listened to. And I think their album's only like 8 or 9 songs, and it's got real Blood Flowers vibes, and I'm very stoked for that. Couch Slut releasing a remaster of My Life as a Woman, which I'm very excited for. And then Bandcamp Friday happened, and I bought a bunch of albums from a band called Ecology Homestones that I think is a noise project about being killed by carrots. So I can't wait to listen to that, because I have no idea what the fuck that means. But I am on board with very stupid ideas for projects. All right. Next week, we're doing a Patreon pick our first Patreon pick for a regular episode. And Chris picked Clive Barker's Lord of Illusions.
Hell yeah.
Which...
Oh, that's actually a good movie. I would have picked something terrible.
Yeah, that's, well, he asked, he was like, it's got to be something very specifically, like, I Hope You Suffer-ish. I was like, that's whatever. Like, it could be either something bad or something you've wanted us to cover, or whatever. And I haven't seen this since, like, the late 90s, so I'm excited to revisit it.
Oh, I just rewatched it recently, and it holds up. It's still pretty good.
I mean, how could it not? Scott Bakula's in it.
Yeah.
That's all you need for your movie to be good. Yeah, that's on, like, Tubi and, I think, Max, if you don't want to watch 45 minutes of commercials with your movie. And then we'll get back to weird little guy shit for a while. We still haven't covered Killer Tomatoes Eat France. We have to.
We should just do every single weird little guy movie.
Honestly, I told Katie, I was like, I'm down to doing just weird little guy movies until we like get bored and come up with another idea. So I desperately want to do the entire Critters franchise. So
oh yeah,
but
sold. That
like constantly is just like in and out of streaming, so we have to catch it on a time where it's all streaming. All right. If you would like to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/podcast. I think the week this comes out, Katie and I recorded an episode on Goosebumps, and it did not go well. I'll say, I do not have the nostalgia for Goosebumps that everyone else seems to. That shit sucks. Sorry, everybody. I listened to, we picked 3 episodes, and I listened to the audiobooks just to be like, let's see, if there's a difference, and man, that shit does not hit when you're 40-something years old. But I got to see little baby Ryan Gosling in an episode. So, that was fun. I forgot he was in Say Cheese and Die. So.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess in, an interview recently, talked about how he still has the camera from it, so. The camera that for some reason looks like an alien toaster. You can leave us a rating and review on iTunes and Spotify and all that shit. You can follow us on Instagram at IBSufferPodcast. Follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery Ketchification of Blood. Follow Katie at WerewolfFace. You can join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. You can listen to my other podcast, Naked Movie Club. Shayne, you have anything you want to promote?
I mean, you can follow me on Twitter if you want, even though I'm trying to reduce the amount of time I spend on that stupid website. You can find me at MetalShayne2000. Or you can also follow me on Instagram, which I'm trying to start using again. It's mostly just my dog. But that is just at MetalShayne.
Yeah, go look at pictures of Bowie. It's one of the only good things on the internet.
So wholesome.
I assume there's at least one retweet right now of Elon Musk jumping on your Twitter feed.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. That's what I should have shouted out, is those pictures of Elon Musk being an idiot.
That picture's fucking insane.
Okay. The one where they Photoshop him being strung upside down like Mussolini is art.
It's so funny. What a fucking dumbass. I don't know how,
talking about weird little guys.
I don't know how you get to the point where you just think you're so fucking cool like he does, and then do shit like that. And, he sees that picture, and he's like, man, I'm so fucking hot, awesome.
Yeah, it's...
Nailed it.
He seems like he would have been the type of kid in high school to go around telling people to vote for him for class clown. He's just desperate for it. How can you be the richest, maybe the richest person who have ever lived, and you're just a total fucking loser? If he was like, I will give you all of my money, you just have to also take on my personality, I would. No, there's no way.
Yeah, no thanks.
It's just I don't know how you don't look around and be like, wow, my biggest fans are a guy named Cat Turd and Ian Miles Chong, and be like, oh my god, what have I done with my life? Everybody who likes you, and it's just the biggest troglodytes on Twitter.
Murderer's row of fucking idiots.
He's gonna die and nobody is gonna be at his funeral.
Yeah, at least not his kids.
Yeah.
All right, fuck Elon Musk. And Ashley Hayes Wright, even though I love her, and she can do no wrong. All right, I hope you get the grip of the monster, aka a hand job. But why?
6-finger hand job.
Yeah, that's the good shit.